Hi, Joe.
Chris.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us. So, you know, not only are you about to go off to Japan to finish up a world tour,
Australia
and Japan, but you've got another project. Just recently, a new son.
Yep.
Just not even 3 weeks old while we're talking. No. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Moses Martin. Your daughter Apple has a biblical name in a way too. It's like you started with the book of Genesis and you've moved on to Exodus now.
Exactly.
Okay, was that the plan from the very start?
Everything is planned meticulously according to biblical proportions.
You're the oldest of 5 children. How big a family do you anticipate having?
17, 20.
Really?
You know,
Can't wait to get back to work, can you?
I think
progeny.
I'd like to be married at least 12 times.
Being a father yourself, how has it changed your perspective on who you are and what you do?
Well, I think it puts everything you do into sharp relief, and it makes you more focused, I think. But we were focused before. I think everyone would say it like makes you realize what your priorities are, you know? Going bowling isn't such a big deal for me anymore.
Were you a big bowler before this?
Not huge, but I mean, it had to go. So, you know, I've only kept on the things that I really loved.
You have less time for what's unessential?
I have less time for, you know, exactly what's unessential.
Now,
I don't go dry skiing nearly so often.
When did you first begin performing?
In a professional manner.
Well, say before that, as a child.
Well, I had a teacher. Well, I mean, you know, my dad came home from Venice one time with my mum, and they gave me this, I suppose you'd call it a ukulele. I didn't call it that, I couldn't pronounce it.
How old were you at the time?
Maybe 7 or 6. And they forced me out onto the streets to earn some, no, they didn't. They gave me that, and then they were always encouraging me to play and do what, you know, they never sort of constricted me in any way. So, I mean, I'm sure we must have done something at Christmas or something like that. But the first concert I remember doing, I was probably 10 or 11, and I had a great teacher called Stephen who came into our school and said to everyone, you don't have to be classically trained to do music, and you don't have to be able to read music, to write music. And he sort of tore up the rule book in our school, which was kind of a strict school. And so I just loved hearing that, and so I started writing little melodies when I was about 10.
You were then playing the piano?
I was more, I don't know if the piano is more sort of Pet Shop Boys keyboard. I would stand behind a keyboard very proudly, which I would never do now, you know?
But you gravitated towards the piano, because I know in high school you often spent a sleepless night in a practice room playing the piano.
Actually, it's more of a sort of, I'm like a Salt Lake City music, no, I don't want to say that. I'm like, have you seen that show Big Love?
Yes.
Where he has 3 wives?
Yes.
Well, that's how I am with singing and piano and guitar.
Those are your 3 wives?
So they're my 3 sort of non-wife wives. And most people think that I spend most time with the piano, but in fact, behind closed doors, I'm just as fond of the guitar. I don't know if I can say that, but...
You mean the piano will get jealous?
I don't want to get anyone jealous or anything, but I love them all equally. I don't like being thought of as just someone who just plays piano, because I don't actually play the piano that well. So I sort of don't want to pretend that that's like my only trick.
Well, you're playing the Pet Shop Boys keyboard. You're in school.
Yeah.
At what point did it start to appeal to you that this was something that you wanted to do?
Well,
to make a career or build a life around?
Even at 11, girls were a lot nicer to me when I just stood behind the keyboard for 5 minutes than when I just, you know, played golf 5 minutes, whatever. I didn't ever play golf, but, you know, I think, but I mean, that's one aspect, maybe like 10%, but as cheesy as it sounds, it just felt like that was my thing. I still get the same kick out of it, even today. Like, I've been in the studio all day, just writing and trying to think up new things, and it feels the same as it did then, except my voice is lower.
Let's talk about your writing process. When you are writing a song, where does it come from?
Well, that's the, you know, $100 billion question if you work for Warner Brothers. It's, which I might do. Nobody knows where it comes from. It's like being a fisherman, you know. You can have all the rods and all the, you know, jackets, but you can't really make the fish come to you. I suppose you can. But I just sit and play and play and play and wait. And when a good song comes, or what I deem to be a good song, you might disagree as the editor of Rolling Stone, but when a good song comes, I don't have any idea where it's come from. All I can say is it's just time. I just put the hours in.
So for you, it's a search every time.
Yeah. Because I think if you design a song, it's never as great as a song that just arrives. So I can sit down and write a song now about this beautiful round brown table and the grain and all that, but it would maybe be a little contrived, more than if I just waited and see what came out, you know.
And do you start with music or with lyrics?
I start with something that surprises me. So, like we were talking about piano and guitar, when I feel like I've played too much piano and I know what I'm doing too much, I'll stop and I'll pick up the guitar and detune it all so that I don't know what I'm doing, which is to me the best way. I think that if you're totally naive about what you're doing, you can come up with something great, even if you then realize it's actually a really simple chord sequence, or it's the same chord sequence as yesterday, you know? But that's how I get excited about it, is when I hear something that I haven't heard before. So even if it's just a chord or some change or something.
So literally flying blind is important for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you about the songs on X and Y. There are a lot of lyrics about feeling lost and broken.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a song like Fix You, or
Yeah.
there's a really great lyric from Talk that's very straightforward. Do you feel like a puzzle, can't find your missing piece?
You think that's a great lyric?
I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's very
It's
simple.
so funny at this point because anything you do, someone says it's great and someone says it's terrible.
But I think what people miss about that is that it's very plain, and therefore it is a feeling that you can relate to very easily.
I think if we can take credit for one thing, it's making plain glamorous.
Well, let me ask you about those lyrics on X and Y. What was it that was lost, or what needed fixing?
Well, well, life has got complications, and lots of people around me have things going on. I don't always have to write about myself or my own experience. There's a song called The Scientist on the album before that, which most people think is about me or something, but it isn't. It's about this guy I know. So maybe at that time, it was at the time of writing all those songs, there was, I don't want to be down, but there was a lot of people kind of dying around us.
The album is dedicated to your wife's late father.
Yeah, among other people, Bruce Paltrow, yeah, who I never actually got to meet, but I came to admire very much, you know. I always have people who come up to me somewhere in the Midwest or something, and they say, oh, you know, Bruce Paltrow gave me my first break, you know. So to me, it's apparent that he was a great guy, so I'm very proud to have done that.